Hello and welcome to the second episode of Let's Play Legend of Grimrock, Oldschool. So, last time I created the party. These are the four people. And I'm imprisoned. How wonderful. Oh look, a torch. And something written on the wall. Choose your fate. Perish in this cell or pick up the torch. Cake or death? I choose death. It's actually quite a beautiful game. Very high fidelity graphics. But it's probably simplified by having a relatively forced perspective. By holding down the right mouse button you can kind of look around, but you're still limited to moving on a grid, as you can see here. That looks suspicious. Click. Would you look at that? Cthulhu himself. Oh, that's probably not Cthulhu, that's probably one of his servants. And apparently Cthulhu is a ninja, because he has a shuriken. A secret was found. Oh look. And I got some lurker boots, which grant me 5 evasion. I'm gonna equip these to one of my tanks. Well, tanks is kind of a big word for level 1 characters, but hey, Minotaur is more tanky than anything in my backline. So while I'm blabbering here, I'm just gonna do a quick sketch of the room, and I think it's time to move on. So here we have ourselves a door. And we were told to pick up the torch or perish. So let's... Oh, look at that. The gate opened. So yeah, it's pretty simple puzzle. But hey, they have to start somewhere. And moving right along. Let's see a little corridor here. And our first crossroads. What are we gonna do? Not a crossroads, but hey, get the meaning. Nothing here. Let's move here. Gonna pick up another torch. I don't need to hold it. The way torches work in this game is, as long as they're in your inventory or you hold them under your mouse cursor, or lay them on the floor, or place them in a, what do you call it, torch holder. I don't know what it's called, I forgot. They don't consume any fuel, but as soon as you equip them on a character, then they start diminishing. You'll probably see it in effect later. And we reach another door. And this is where the game teaches you these chains. Click, and you pull them and open the gate. And moving onwards, we get to a small bend here. Actually, I'm just not gonna draw for the first wall. I know the place, it's pretty simple. I don't need to draw. Oh look, we got some basic clothes and a cudgel. So who should equip it? As you can see here, 7 attack power, 6 attack power. So it's probably my Minotaur who gains the most from this cudgel. And since he got the boots, I'm gonna put the clothes on the human. Pilfer some more torches. And open a switch here. Hmm. Oh, a rock. Shiny. It's gonna be my pet rock. Hmm. It opened. How come? And it closed. Yeah. You're not stupid. You saw the pressure plate. And the rock is obviously there so you can place it. But if you're clever and you want a rock, because rocks are throwing weapons. If you went to kindergarten, you probably already know that. So I'm gonna take a torch and place it there instead. Pick up another torch. So... Ooh, look, I found a key. Those alcoves, they're pretty much everywhere. They're your basic way to gain small, neat things. Sometimes they hold armor, sometimes they hold food. So, this is the first real place where you have to choose which way to go. But turns out they loop. Gonna unlock the door here. And pass through. So we have a lock gate here that needs a key. As opposed to the door, which the keyhole was placed in the door itself. And we're told about loose rocks, which, as you probably noticed in the starter area, was this kind. They're used pretty much everywhere for secret areas. More torches. You know, I'm just gonna pick up torches until I can't carry anything. It's gonna be fun. Use the key there. What you saw there was me being lazy, not placing the key in my inventory and putting it straight in the lock. It's just a neat thing you can do. It's not really needed to play the game though. Another thing I should probably tell you is you can actually use the torch as weapons. See here? Increases the attack power by 4. It's better than fighting barehanded. Unless you got the unarmed trait. So, our first fight. Yeah, I'm gonna abuse my knowledge. See, my insect mage here, he knows ice magic. This is the magic system. 9 runes and a lot of possible combinations. For example, if I click just this, I get told there's a spell, but I'm not clever enough to cast it. That? There's no spell. The spell fizzles. But this is the ice shards. The first ice spell. And rather powerful one at that. Now you see he doesn't have a lot of energy left because I spent a lot of it experimenting with, well, fizzling spells and spells I couldn't cast. That consumes energy as well, so... moving onwards. What I picked up there was a snail slice. That's your first occurrence of food. Food, as you can see, is used for this bar. Cleverly labeled food. And it slowly decreases every time you do an action, which I assume they mean attacking or moving. Or perhaps opening things. And this snail slice is rather heavy for food. 2.5 kilograms. Hey, I guess he's a minotaur. A man's gotta eat, you know. But yeah, I'm not gonna eat the food yet. I'm gonna save it. So, I killed the snail. Kinda lost track. Oh look. Snail apparently had some boots. I don't know what he would use them for, but hey, I'm not one to judge. Some more pants, some more boots, and a knife. Now, you probably heard me say I was planning on making my rogue here a knife wielder, but since he doesn't have backstabbing from assassination yet, I'm gonna give the knife to my human. So, opening the gate, another alcove with a throwing knife. Now, throwing knives are actually weaker than shurikens, but obviously stronger than rocks. So I'm gonna equip the throwing knife to my rogue, and he's gonna be able to throw knives at people. How wonderful. Another snail. Take that, and that, and that. And that. Oh, he has a friend. And now I'll show you why I picked ice magic at level 1. If they'll just move into position. Booyah! I don't know if you could see it there, but I actually did damage to both snails. Now what I'm doing here is playing with the snail, just strafing around it. It's a very effective way of avoiding hits, both early on and late on in the game. And it's pretty much needed, at least on hard. I'm not sure about normal. It's probably not needed on easy. Another torch. A key, how wonderful. Or keyhole. Now this is actually starting to get confusing without a map. I'm so used to auto mapping, but hey, I'll manage. A loincloth. You know, it would be fun to equip my cow with a loincloth, but nah, I'm gonna put it on my rogue here. Because my cow needs to tank for me. I also got a baked maggot. That sounds delicious. It's food, basic food. Now, moving on. Oh, backtracking rather. A keyhole. Okay, so we have a chain there. Great. More food. Some bread. And another rock. Rock on. Gonna pull the chain. And a pit with a message. It reads, to close the pit, something needs to fly. And we just got a rock. I know. My cow needs to fly. Here! No? Okay. What happened? I know, I fell down a shaft. Yes, you can actually fall down pits, and more often than not, it leads to a new area. In this case, what have we? You can't fly! Nonsense. I have a bug. Bugs have wings. What can? You know, I think he's trying to imply that rocks can fly, but that sounds kinda silly. Let's try. It worked. Go figure. And we get the key. Now I'm gonna pick the rock back up, and guess what happens when I step off? It opens again. But hey, I want my rock. I'm not gonna leave it. It's my favorite rock. And now would actually be a good time to rest. You rest in this game by pressing R or by pressing this convenient symbol. Resting is kinda useful for the sole reason that it recovers your health and your energy. However, be wary because when resting you risk running into monsters. And if they attack you while resting, you take a lot of damage. I assume it's double or triple damage from what the monsters would usually do, so be careful. Now what have we here? Closed door? No levers? No chains? But we have a message. Heal my sight. I'd rather not actually, you look kinda ugly. I'd rather punish you. He didn't like that. He made my world go red. Or slightly less orange. So, what happened with the colors is, my torch is burning out. As you can see, oh hello. The torch down there in the corner is kinda dim, but when you equip a new one, the colors get brighter and the torch has full flame. But for now I'm just gonna use my old torch. Spare the fuel on the, or rather, not start a new torch, because that's just wasteful. Now these things are called herders, and they look kinda normal, don't you think? Nothing particularly challenging yet. Although now I've managed to get myself into a corner. That's kinda stupid. However, that's not enough to kill me. Bullwinkle and Axor. Now for most enemies, you probably want to have at least a 2x2 area, because that means you have a lot of room to move around the enemy. Like, oh, god damn it. Yeah, so my mage is out of energy. Nope, now he is. And my rogue has only two throwing weapons. So I'm gonna use the convenient option of pelting him with rocks. Or stoning, as they call it. And that takes care of that. Now here we see a diamond of some sort, of blue gem. But how do we get to it? More of these scrim caps. They have some flavor text, it's not really consequential. Something about a master chef using them. Not the Iron Chef, sadly. But we do have the iron grate here, which just went up. And let's pick up the gem. No dilly-dallying. And you might also have noticed this, which I completely forgot what does. Leads to a secret, apparently. And we get some cave nettle and a real dagger instead of this dodgy knife. If you compare these weapons, you can see the dagger has a lot more accuracy and a bit more damage. +5 accuracy. If you're wondering why I'm not dual wielding, there's really no point. When you right click either the left or the right sector here for each hand, and it uses that specific hand and puts both on cooldown. So the only reason to dual wield would be to get two different weapons to use on the fly. For example, if you have, say, a highly accurate dagger or a dagger that does more damage, and you can, for each weapon swing, pick, do I want accuracy or do I want increased damage? So that takes care of that. And hi, snail. Actually, before I close this pit, I'm just gonna jump in and see what I get. Apparently another snail. How wonderful. Yeah, you can probably tell I've played this combat before. Maybe it was a bit pessimistic going to normal, but hey, I don't want to waste your time by dying a lot. Because hard is actually kinda hard. Now I'm wondering what this crate is. It's probably open from the other side. And perfect timing, my torch just went out. So I'm gonna have to find a new one. As you can see, I can actually use the free hand on my front line for a torch if I want to. There's no reason to use any specific character yet. But I'm just used to having my rogue or my mage use a torch. Would you die already? Thank you. More of this wonderful snake meat. Snail meat. No. Oh yeah. So each time something steps on any of the pressure plates, it seems the gate's shut. So those snails are just there to ruin it for me. Out of energy. Another thing you can do if you're really creative. Yeah. And that way you can attack with all your characters even when you got no ranged options left. But it's kinda cumbersome and... Oh, hello! And not something you wanna do a lot. So yeah. Moving on. Still no energy left. Yeah, I guess that's the negative of going ice magic. Apparently the spell costs a lot more than fire spells and such. That's something I didn't notice on my first time through. And look what we got here. A blue gem. Now what? Oh? Oh no! Yeah, there's a hidden button there. But it closes again, so what we gotta do is place something on the pressure plate. We can pick it up again. And voila. Ooh, I almost forgot to pick up this torch. No. Did I forget something in here? Yes, I did. A rock. Nothing of this other stuff is important. I just want the rock. Now, a tattered cloak that grants a bit of evasion. I'm gonna give that to Bullwinkle. And now we get a scroll of fire bursts. On my first time through, I'd luckily picked fire magic for my first 2 points, so I could cast spells at this point, but yeah, my mage was kinda useless. He I couldn't figure out any spells with him. So I ran around up till this point not being able to cast. Now back to the face and time to place the 2 blue gems. There's the other one. And a skeleton appears. A new challenger appears. Press start to join. So yeah, these are pretty much gonna be your bread and butter enemies for a big part of the game. And a lot of level ups. The way the XP system works is, for example, my mage just happens to not have hit as many enemies as the other guys. And each enemy you participate in killing, in other words, land a blow on to do damage, you gain, you gain full experience. The other party members that didn't hit the enemy, they only gain half experience. So since my mage was out of energy for some time, he just doesn't have as much experience as the other guys. So, what did he drop? He dropped a legionary shield. That's convenient. And a legionary spear, which, if you read the description, is a reach weapon. In other words, it can attack from the back row, which is exactly what we're gonna use it for. So now the mage should have an attack option even when he's out of energy. Now, each time you level up, you gain 4 skill points, as you can see here. And I'm gonna apply them to my characters. Two points extra in axes for my axeman, I think. Yep. Because that grants him +1 strength. Now, for each point you place in a weapon skill, you gain more accuracy and attack power and such with the specific weapon. But since I have no axes, it doesn't really give me anything yet. However, I'm still gonna go ahead and just pump them into axe skill, because once I get an axe, it's gonna be wonderful. For my rogue, I want to be able to reach attack as soon as possible, which I'm sadly 1 skill point behind on. Just so happens. And last but not least, my cow here. Yeah, if you see at the 10th point, you get something called Bash. Bash is a special attack, and Bash is rather neat. It basically any special attack you do pretty much every other strike as long as you have energy for it, and it does a lot more damage than your regular attack. There's no way to control it, it's just a proc, as you'd call it. So, gonna try to get that soon. Now, to see what hides behind the skull, or the weird face, whatever. A door with a mountain and a lot of cogs. 1, 2, 3, 4 cogs. This is called an iron door. And they are always related to some sort of secret. As you can see here, I found 2 secrets so far, and 0 out of 10 iron doors opened. We get a scroll here describing the doors of iron. Great rewards can be found behind these doors. To gain access, look carefully for small details and use your wits. Sorry, I don't have any wits. Just gonna leave the scroll there. 1 small loose rock. 2 small loose rocks, and the door opens. And inside we find a secret. With a whitewood wand and a scroll. A scroll which states, "This magical staff is a powerful weapon when wielded by a potent mage." Now as you can see here, oops, when a non-mage has an empty hand, it'll just show a normal hand, which means an unarmed attack. When a mage has an empty hand, he casts magic. However, a mage can also use wands and other such focus items to cast spells. This is the first example of such. Requires Spellcraft 1, which luckily means he can use it, and it gives him +5 energy. And that's really the only benefit. You can use it to cast spells via, and it's just a stat stick really. And now what do we have here? Another scroll. Crystal of Life. Touch to regain health and restore life. In other words, it resurrects your party members and heals you. Now another caster scroll here. Just gonna organize a bit. Poison Cloud. That's the basic earth magic spell, and it's pretty terrible. I'm not gonna bother skilling earth magic. But hey, whatever works for you. So now I'm gonna click this Crystal of Life to heal my characters and auto save the game. And that's gonna be the end of the second, perhaps third episode. I don't know if I'll be splitting this up into 2. But for now I'm gonna stop recording, and when we continue, it's down the stairs to level 2. Goodbye.